Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike from MetaComix coming at you with a review for Superman number 34, written by Geoff Johns and art by John Romita Jr. Alright, so let's give you an overview here of what the story was all about, and then what I liked and what I didn't like about it, and some themes that were in the book. Alright, so the book basically is, Johns gives us the origin story of Ulysses. He has Supes kind of embracing his role as a mentor, and he introduces this villain known as the Machinist. That's the issue in a nutshell. Now, as far as what I liked about it, there was really good character development with Ulysses. We get to see his background more, where he came from, how similar his origin story is to Superman, and how these two characters are so very similar, but there is one big difference that they explore at the end of the issue, which I won't reveal here. But it was really good to see his interaction with his parents and his family, and it just gave him some added depth and emotion that's we haven't got to see yet. So that was really cool. Really pushed that part forward. It was really cool to see Superman team up with somebody who was more or less his equal, which Ulysses pretty much is. He's very similar to Superman. He has a lot of the same powers and stuff as far as his strength and things like that, and flying. So it's just really cool to see someone with a similar story who understands kind of Superman's whole deal with what it's like to be a stranger in this land, and that's not something he's had before. So thought that was really cool. There was some very good dialogue, especially when the parents of Ulysses were talking with him and explaining kind of like his origin story, where you heard why they shipped him off to the fourth dimension, and his adopted parents who picked him up in another world, and that was just really good dialogue there. And there was some pretty decent action in this issue as well, some really cool developments with that. Now, as far as what I didn't like, well, the main thing for me, one of the main things, was the art. I'm not a huge fan of John Romita Jr., really. I felt like the art was kind of off in this issue. It was very inconsistent, especially in regard to facial expressions. There were a few times that you looked at the facial expression and it looked like something out of a freaking horror movie or something. I don't know. It just looked strange to me, and I wasn't really, into it that much. And there's also some areas where the hand, like Superman's hand, looked like freaking French fries or something. It was really weird. So I didn't really like the art, and this has been a complaint of mine for the last couple issues. I'm not really digging the way Romita Jr. is drawing up Superman, though I am enjoying the story, so yeah. As of right now, the Machinist seems kind of like a one-dimensional, kind of a weak villain, but this is only, his real first introduction, as far as I know. So, it's one of those things that obviously they'll build on that as time goes on. Excuse me, I gotta flip over my notes because I'm old and need notes for stuff. The other thing was the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger was kind of inevitable, it seemed. It seemed like the issue that Ulysses and Superman kind of confront was something that you were just waiting for that shoe to drop. So it was very expected, and it really wasn't something that piqued my interest a lot for the next issue. I want to read the next issue because I really like this Ulysses character and like the whole idea of Superman being a mentor. So that's already got me hooked in for the next issue. But the cliffhanger didn't do much to increase my suspense at waiting for the next issue to come out. Themes. One of the main themes was the need for positive role models and mentorship. Ulysses' mom talks to Superman about how, Ulysses is a complete stranger to the ways of this world, and he really needs someone to take him under his wing and teach him how things work. And even though he now has his family, his mom and dad in his life, they don't understand him the same way that Superman does. And so they ask him to step in and be that mentor. And that's something I think is incredibly important in this day and age as well. A lot of young men come from broken homes where there's no father figure, or daughters don't have a mother around, or whatever it might be, and it's important to have someone in your life that fills that void, that fills that gap. And even if you do have those people in your life, eventually you have to transition from being a child to being an adult into a job or career or a new phase of life, and you need a mentor who's been there, done that, to help show you the ropes, whether it's a career or whatever. So I really think that's important, and I really like that they stressed that in this book. The other theme is, of course, this is going to seem kind of cheesy, but it's true. With great power comes great responsibility. Ulysses has a lot of power, but he sometimes gets carried away with his emotional desire to carry out justice and protect people, and he misuses that power a little bit. And once you get to the end of the issue, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I thought that was interesting, a reminder that, look at this guy who's not had a mentor in his life, not had a solid figure in his life to show him how to use his powers for good with restraint, and how Superman's got to take this young man and mold him and shape him to use his powers wisely and to use them rightly. So, I don't know, it was really good. It was really good. Overall, I give the issue an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the story. I really like what they're doing with Ulysses, and I just can't wait to see where they go with it. The only real solid complaint for me is the art, and that I can handle having some not so stellar art as long as the story is really good, and the story so far to me is really good. So I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend you pick it up. All right, guys, that's all I got. I will see you in the next one.